The cross in front, putting a miss. Garris, goal! Houston leads.
What's up, H-Town and all around? Like Ryan Gary's, we're going to put it up in the upper 90 tonight, and we're going to go beyond and win this tonight. Welcome to the Dash Dispatch, or welcome back to the Dash Dispatch. As always, the dynamic Foxtrot. Andres, what's up, brother?
Pretty good, sir. Feeling like a dog.
That's right. If you're my dog, let them know.
Yeah,
Just a big shout out at the end there, right there. Hey, we have a guest tonight. Thank you for coming on, David Castro. Oh, goddamn. CG Sports Media, correct? Hey, what's up, brother?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on tonight, man. Appreciate you hopping in with us tonight into the Foxtrot Studios.
No, sure thing. Thank you guys for having me. And you did get it right, CG Sports Media. You got it right, man. So, we've seen each other at the stadium many times, and first time joining, and really looking forward to having a good chat and enjoying this.
And hopefully many more in the future. We're gonna keep it up.
Hey, I'm down.
Yeah.
The one part I don't like is the Aggie part, but that's all right, man. You're doing your shit and you're working, bro. You're working. I appreciate everything you do and what you do, but at the end, you're going to get your shout out. You're going to get to tell people who you are and what you're about. You know what? Skip that part, man. Tell them, bro. Tell them right now who you are. What is CG Sports Media? What are you going about since I already started talking shit about the Aggies? I'm a Longhorn, by the way. So, man, tell them what you do and who you are so they understand, but so they don't have to wait a whole show for it. No teasers.
Yeah, sure thing. Sure thing. So we cover the Dynamo, the Dash, Dynamo 2 sometimes, but we are not just about soccer. Soccer is my passion for sure, but we want to cover everything. So this year we got access to cover the Aggies, which I know you're thrilled about that.
Nice.
No, it's been an awesome experience. Really didn't think that I was gonna get access to it, and it's a different animal. But our goal is to really reach out to just cover every sport available. And our slogan is your game, our passion, because we're really passionate about sports in general. So, but soccer is my thing. That's just, I mean, if I could do soccer all day long, but the season ends, and then what else do you do? So that's kind of the goal behind it. Just keep it going throughout the year and keep covering the Texas teams and just try to do the best we can to put good coverage and get people engaged.
Yeah, he is doing a good job, y'all. I can say it for just from seeing it. I follow him, obviously. I am a Longhorn, but I still see his coverage, and it looks like he's having fun and a good time, and he's doing a good job at it. So y'all make sure to follow. He'll give his credentials out here at the end of the show, and so y'all make sure to follow. Make sure to subscribe, whichever it is, whatever it is. It's a good outlet to follow. So, man, y'all ready to get into it? This is the Dash Dispatch, so let's start talking about the Houston Dash. All right, man. Andres, we're going to Coachella again this year, and Coachella, the preseason tournament at the beginning of, obviously, I think it's 8 NWSL teams and 12 MLS teams going to Coachella. It has been decided who's kind of going to go to Coachella. I think it's a good tournament to do your preseason tournament at. Some teams, it depends on where they go, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of boring, man. You're not putting effort into everything. And the season that we had and the season that we're going to have and the off season that we're expecting, Coachella is a good spot to go have, and it's a great atmosphere, and you find other players too. Probably half these 10-day contracts that we signed throughout the season probably came from players that were trying out at Coachella and put their scouting network or put their profile in the scouting network. But man, Coachella, what do you think of that Coachella tournament, Andres?
Honestly, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's funny that the Dynamo never get invited to Coachella, but then again, it's probably because they're going to Mexico again or something like that. But But I digress. It's actually six NWSL teams, and I think it's
Oh,
very interesting because one of them is going to be Denver Summit, the new NWSL team joining the league pretty soon. So I'm looking forward to that. And of course, since the NWSL got rid of all the drafts and all the mechanics and all that, they pretty much just have to start from scratch. So looking forward to see how they form out and if they're going to be a contender very soon. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
David, any comments on Coachella? I know Coachella's a kind of a prolific place to go play in a preseason tournament, but I think it's good for the team to go experience it as well. Again, a lot of new players here this year too.
No, I think it's a great it's great exposure for the players, and it's also like you were mentioning, you can see other players there, and maybe there might be transactions that happen from that tournament. Who knows? But it's a good preseason tournament to go into, also because of the teams that are participating, and like Andres was saying, it'll be interesting to see that new team. What is it, Denver Summit,
Yeah,
and see what they're about, and see how we match up against them. Uh, we're ending up in a good way, but you got to start all over and see what you're bringing to the next season. So that's exciting. I think it'll be good.
And we mentioned seeing a lot of different players there at Coachella. It's not just the NWSL and MLS. I believe there's going to be a youth tournament there too, and so it's going to be of all ages. So how I mentioned, you're going to find other players, college players coming out of college, going to be playing there, players that are free agents, player in the USL coming in playing that. It's all around. So it's a good tournament, good looking, and obviously for the dash side of it, they're looking, and it looks like they're always looking because I felt like every 3 weeks there was a 10-day short-term contract announced, and it sounded like it was a goalkeeper every time too. So that was the funny part about it, man. But so we'll see how that goes. But that is the preseason. We're not quite there yet. We got an off season. We still have one more game to go this season, and we still have international duty coming up this coming weekend. We also have a game to talk about right now. Did it? Did
yes.
we? Did we? Did we? Did David beat Goliath? Very pun intended.
Hey, 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 that worked. Man, I honestly, and I was talking to Valentina, who's been on the show before, and I don't think anyone anticipated what we saw.
No,
I think,
boy, did we get it wrong.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you go in there, you think, okay, they're gonna give it their all, but I was quite surprised how they played, and I mean, they put a lot of effort and heart, and they did the dash thing, just keeping you on edge at the end, just just holding on to those last few minutes.
Yep.
But they did it. They pulled it off, and man, that was a great way to close out the last home game, and give something to the fans to celebrate. So that was I was quite impressed, to be honest.
Right. Fan appreciation night, as you kind of mentioned right there. It was the last home game of the season versus the best team in the league that won the Shield like 14 weeks ago, even though the season, I mean, feels like the season not that long, but they won it, what, 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, whatever. They're the best team in the league by far right now, and it was super to friggin' beat their butts, man. And I was hoping things were going to work out and we could go to KC and be the 8th seed and play them. That would have been so friggin' awesome because I was at that one playoff game where we hosted Kansas City, the one that the Dash have had, and it was a sellout at Shell. And man, but Andres, bro, this game, as David said, no one expected anything that happened in this game. We expected to fight, but we did not expect the result. We expected to be in there, maybe lose by one, hopefully a draw, maybe get our butts kicked 3-0. We just came off a poor performance against Angel City, but Andreas, your emotions, and if you watched Foxtrot Game Day from Shell Energy Stadium, you saw the emotions on the couch, and you'll have to see Foxtrot Game Day to know what we're talking about when we say the couch. But Andres, your emotions from this game as well, because you were there in person and you saw it firsthand.
Yeah, going into this game, I was nervous, and of course, in the last episode that we recorded, I told you that we were gonna win. But then again, I tell you that whenever I turn off my brain because we all know what was gonna potentially happen against the best team in the league, and it turned out to be the opposite. At the end of the day, the Dash came in and played their game, and I was definitely starting to feel uncomfortable in the last in the last 20 minutes of the game because it kind of just looked like a lot of the games that we've been seeing for the Dash to close out, where they've been struggling to get those wins and get those important points. But you know what? They stood their ground. They took advantage of the goal. They took advantage of the opportunity, and they got the result. And a big and massive win, not just really for the standings, but rather what a team that has been building for so long this year, and to show their fans in their last home game of the season. So honestly, very happy about that result.
Absolutely, absolutely. Big dub for the Dash. All right, starting lineup, Lisa Boatin got the start on the left side over there. Chappie was available, Lozia was available, but Lisa Boatin finally got a start, a well-deserved start. I think a lot of people have been asking for it and been waiting for it as well. Messiah Bright got the start at striker. We know it's a flip of the coin. Is it going to be Clarissa Laracy or Messiah Bright? So we got Messiah Bright at this point. Sorry, not at this point, to start this game. And, you know, Clarissa and Messiah kind of are the same mold right now, I think, in my opinion. I'll let y'all two disagree if y'all want to here in a second. But, yeah, so it doesn't kind of matter which one starts with me. I just, they both need to finish, man. If they just finished, man, they would get so much more praise because they put so much effort in, so much energy in. But all right, man, looking at it, the starting lineup, going into it, we felt good. Fabrice felt good if you watch the preview press conference going into the game. Whew, uh, good performance, solid performance, especially from that back line back there. Granted, it was 20 shots total for Kansas City, but we put enough pressure on them. Andres, how did you feel about that defensive performance that the Dash ended up putting out? Obviously winning 1-0 and getting that clean sheet. Cannot forget, JC1 was back in the net between the posts. Jane Campbell was back at your starting goalkeeper.
I was very impressed by the defensive performance, just in between Maria Berkeley and Paige Nielsen for most of the game. I thought it did a very solid job containing an extremely dangerous attack in Kansas City Current, and it's been something that we've been highlighting for like forever, like before the game on Foxtrot Game Day, and also on the Last Asset Dispatch, because I mean you only have to say Chawinga, and you already know what you're getting into because even without her, like they're just able to open up the game and just cause a ton of damage. And eventually that didn't happen because like the Dash did so well, not just tracking back and just having like enough support to block any counters, so any like through balls, but just the fact that they've been able to provide enough coverage like in the midfield and deny a ton of opportunities for Kansas City Current. They did a very good job, not just knowing where they are defensively, but communicating everything and just understanding where everybody is, because I feel like that was half the battle for that game.
David, so I was watching kind of closely to see how we were going to mark Chawinga and how we were going to play, because you don't just have Chawinga, first off, right, Andres? You had Davinia, you have Labonta, you have Michelle Cooper on the other side, which is a crazy lineup, and then KC's defense is just friggin' stellar, by the way. 35 goal differential, only gave up 12 goals the entire friggin' season, which is nuts. So they're only expected to be the friggin' best, and you stop them. So looking at that defense, man, and how the strategy coming in, the game plan coming in for Fabrice, it looked like, to me, And I asked Paige later. I didn't ask for Brees this specific. I waited for Paige. But it looked like there was a game plan to kind of man mark and pay attention to Chwinga and then pick up the space with the others. And then once Chwinga, unfortunately, fortunately, went out. Air quotes, by the way, that y'all listening to audio. Sorry, I forget. Sometimes it's Foxtrot TV. We do produce on audio as well. So I'll give y'all the air quotes. That was not wishing for her injury, but she did go out, and then you saw the defense kind of change a little bit, and they had more freedom, and then they could float together and work together. But did you notice the game plan or feel the game plan, and what did you see with the Dash defending the Kansas City Current and that friggin' onslaught of an attack that scored 47 goals this year, 5 more than Washington did in anybody else?
Yeah, I think I noticed that as well. There was like a one-to-one coverage. It's kind of what I saw.
Avery.
Everyone just kind of you get this one, you get this one, because otherwise we were gonna get caught. I mean that lineup on the other side, that offensive line, like it was you're thinking, how are you gonna stop them?
Yeah.
But the one way I think that really worked was doing that 1v1. I mean, this is yours, this is yours, this is yours, and it worked. And I think Lisa, she showed that she belongs there. I mean, I was very impressed with her, and Paige played probably, I don't know if it's the best game that she's played, but she was a wall back there. She was, and also Berkeley. I mean, everyone in the back end was just very on their game. So, I mean, props to them, man. I think they won the game. Just like they say, defense wins the games, or the defense is the better offense, or something like that. How's it that? I forgot how they
Defense
say it.
championships.
Defensive
Yeah,
championships, yeah.
but man, it was probably the best defensive performance I've seen in the season, because there were a few, and you can't be perfect. There were a few hiccups here and there, but I mean, they adjusted and they corrected, and they got that ball out of there. So
KC
it was
did
good.
have to make some saves. The KC did hit the post. There was a couple
Yeah,
flyovers that they made that were near the post as well. So 20 shots. I mean, and you say that, Andres, I don't think you have the stats put up. What is the XG for Kansas City? So you've got to pull it up real quick. The XG for Kansas City and the XG for the Dash, but it was an absolute stellar performance. You missing Lisa Boateng. And Andres, I want to ask you about Lisa Boateng, because we've been talking amongst ourselves and on other shows, previous shows, sorry, that we've been wanting her and expecting her. Fans have been asking for her too. And I think you were more with her performance. I think you thought she had a better performance than I did when we were talking amongst ourselves right there during the game as that was happening. But what was your follow up to Lisa Boateng now that you've replayed it, you've seen everything, you thought about it? And then we're going to go back to Paige Nielsen, the dog that just brought it, and then her, just how she enjoyed it. But Lisa Boateng, man.
I was very impressed by her. I honestly just going back to what David and you were mentioning, it's just the fact that she was able to start that, which was great. I definitely see a lot of her flashes whenever she was coming off the bench, and tonight showed it. Of course, you have to consider that it was a very difficult opponent, very difficult midfield and backline to break through,
Yeah, Cooper.
and she was able to make her way in as many times as possible, and honestly, I want to also give a shout out to Messiah Bride, because I also feel like she had a ton of opportunities like up front. OSG and I, and also Manny from Bio City Soccer, we were just joking about Messiah Bride's trademark heavy touches that just kind of like mess up plays here and there. But I also felt like she did pretty good. She got very close to the box in many occasions, and I feel like she had a good shot of scoring that night.
Yeah, real quick, I want to say you're right. The Messiah Bright heavy touch. She puts herself in so many good situations, and then takes that heavy friggin' touch or over dribbles herself, and then it's just like, oh man. I think one time she got past the defender, but she wasn't expecting to be right past the defender, and it was on the goal line, and like and then she took a heavy touch, and the defender was able to get it back. But I kind of saw it and felt it. She did not feel like the defender was just going to make it that easy to get past her, and it kind of happened, and she did. So yeah, great shout out to Messiah Brighton. The work she is putting in, like I said, just God, man, just put them in the net. Just put them in the net. So woo, a lot to work with. All right, Paige is our dog. And if you watch the press conference or were in the press conference, she was glowing, the happiest I've seen Paige in a while. She's adjusting. She loves Houston. She moved from LA. Just got to see her sister back in LA too, and the rest of her family back in LA. And then just to come in and put this fight out and defeat the best team in the friggin' league. And if you watch it, like I said, he was glowing and just happy and just talked about it and asked Paige about it. But man, David, I know you want to follow up with Paige and Lisa as well. But again, talk about that defense and just what they did. And we call her the vice captain because she takes over when Jane's not available to be behind the post. And so Paige is our next captain when Jane is not there. So that is something special also to mention. Your goalkeeper and your center back is the captain of the team and control that team, and I think that's where it belongs and where it needs to be, and that's something special. So get it and tear it up, ages up. But David, what do you think about that, man? The defense and the future of that defense with Lisa Bolton and Paige, our dog.
Yeah. No, I think Fabrice has found his best back four. They're considering he's been through so many changes and injuries, and then this player left, and then it's just, it's hard to adjust. It's hard to find your four that are going to be, your wall back there. And I think he's found it. Now we got Lisa. Now he's gonna have to figure out what he's gonna do because she showed, like I said earlier, she belongs there.
Mm-hmm.
She showed a lot of very interesting things. I mean, she knows the game. It's one of those players you don't have to really tell her much. She knows her position. She knows what to do, and she showed it. And then you have Berkeley. She settled right in. It took her a couple games, but she settled. And those two in the middle, man, they're just unstoppable. I mean, they're just a wall back there. And I think Fabrice found the problem is I don't know if you have subs for those that will go in and do the same thing in the same capacity. So
Right, that is a good question. That is a good question to bring up, and that's something that'll be covered in the off season, Angela. Right. So as you
mhm.
mentioned, the back four, Lisa Bolton, maybe your left back, Avery Patterson, your right back, Malia Barkley, and then Paige Nielsen, your two center backs, and you have a Michelle Alozia, you have a Alicia Chapman as substitutes as well, but they're both on the outside. So you don't have any center backs right now. You do have a Katie Lynn, but will Katie Lynn return? She is a free agent. So will she return or will we move on and try to upgrade that situation? I think we can. I would love for Natalie Jacobs to come back. That'll be a segue later for David. He's got something that he wants to talk about. But, man, otherwise, Andres, bro, this game was just kind of stressful, and KC was pushing and just putting on a little bit here and a little bit there, but Dash were doing a good job too at sometimes, but just over. I mean, heavy touch was a theme for all the players that night. As a matter of fact, not just Messiah Bright, even though Messiah Bright does it multiple games. A lot of players had a lot of heavy touches where you felt like they just over dribbled themselves into the defenders and then, oh, here comes KC again, but the defense was on par and they didn't push too far up and we were able to defend. And as the commentary said, they may have found Brees may have found a blueprint for the Houston Dash moving forward. On that comment, I want to ask you, Andres, and then I'm coming to you, David. From the commentary comment, has Fabrice found a blueprint moving forward, playing this KC game? or was this more of an intensity and a pride, which is kind of hard to say when you get your ass whooped against Angel City 7 days ago, 2-0. What was it, man?
I think he found it. It's more so momentum and the personnel that you have at that moment in time. And of course, not to mention that Kansas City Current is riding probably the biggest wave when it comes to team spirit. What you might call it, team morale too. Like they're riding an incredible wave, and we are and of course a very different situation where we're not really like to an extent not aiming towards playoffs at this moment in time due to all these circumstances, but just trying to obviously think about next year, but more so having that type of performance that night specifically, where you have to face one of the best opponents that you can possibly face, and understanding and how to execute that game plan. I feel like that was the main focus of it. That's why every single time that we ask Fabrice or we ask the players about the expectations for this game or like the game after that, they almost always say it's on a game by game basis. So we just focus on what's ahead for that day. So it's definitely good, and it goes back to what we mentioned in Foxtrot game day, that everyone is synced in the same understanding when it comes to performing when it matters most. And of course, we definitely like to make playoffs. We want to win the Shield at some point and the championship, but we'll go back to the first day. It's just a project. It's part of the rebuild, and at least have something to build out of for looking forward to next year.
What do you think, David?
Yeah, I think if we build from what we have right now, there's a lot of potential. Yeah, you gotta reinforce a couple areas,
Right.
but I think he's finding his team, and like I said, there was a lot of moves in the season, and that always throws you off because you think oh yeah, I found the team, and then all of a sudden, oh this one's out, or you have international uh, breaks and things like that. Players that get called out, and we happen to have a lot of them. So that throws a curveball at you, but I think the team is headed in the right direction. I think this, for what I've seen of previous season, and as the season progressed, I think the team is settled. There's unity. Everyone understands the idea, and you need that. You need that unity, and there's a healthy competition between the players, and that's always great to have because everyone's aiming in the right direction.
That is something that I did ask in the press conference, was about chemistry, especially with Paige. And I don't remember if I asked Fabrice about the chemistry, but I did mention how much the chemistry has been improved, and I did mention to Paige. We've talked about the chemistry improving and the team improving together and believing in each other, the most part and the best part. But still got a lot to work on. Still have one game left with International League coming up, but the off season is what the fans are looking forward to for the first time in a long time. But before we get to the off season, I got a question for y'all, and it's just something to go back, and it's hindsight, kind of, sort of. And looking back, expectations for this season was not to make the playoffs. I think we can all 100% agree that is what we're going to get. We have a rookie coach who has never been a head coach before. Exciting to see what he can do. Has a roster that we knew what the players were, but we don't know what we can get from them. Didn't perform too well together. A lot of new players coming in at the same time. So expectations were low. Anything above that would have been yes, which we kind of got. And I think so. With the playoffs so close, man, what is something that prevented the Houston Dash from making the playoffs, or that could have assisted in the Houston Dash from making the playoffs? And David, you kind of inspired that question because you kind of brought up this topic and you requested this topic, by the way, and you had a very good answer. But I would like to hear from you and let the people hear from you first.
Yeah, the one thing I've been talking about with the people around at the games is, man, Natalie Jacobs. That was a huge loss, and she was holding that back line. She was kind of like the leader, and man, when she left, I was like, what are we doing? Because we were in a good run. I think that's when we were five on a 5 game streak that we were
Or so, yeah.
undefeated. Yeah, and then she left, and all of a sudden the defense fell apart, and then you have to go through that adjustment. And I think I don't know what the reasonings were for her, if it came from her, if it was a team, a lot of questions there. But it happened so quickly and so out of the blue that you left the team just you have Fabrice had to come in and just try to figure out, what do I do now? Who's gonna come in and replace this like key player that we had? And I think that hurt the team, because then we went from that good streak that we had, and then we had this slope where we just went downhill, and then had to go back up, but it was too late.
Dude,
So I think that contributed.
when you told me that, it did hit me, and I was like, man, you are right, because for context, back on this show, we did question the sell or the trade when it happened, and we did not understand the trade when it happened. Natalie Jacobs, our centerpiece, the girl that's been back there holding that line, who filled in for Katie Lynn when she left, and then Tarsi when she left, and came in and done a freaking great job, and everybody loves her. The Stegosaurus hairdo. It was a complete, utter surprise when she was traded. So we came down to the conclusion that it was her request, and that was something she wanted to do. I do believe she did just get married, and maybe it was something that it was for the family perspective of it. Total, we don't know. Totally. Don't hold us to that, people. We do not know anything why Natalie Jacobs left or was traded or what the reason was. We just assume, and that's the best reason, was personal reasons. She wanted to go, and she went to North Carolina Courage. So it is what it is. Malia Berkeley came in that trade as well. Did not play for one game, I think it was, or 2 games maybe. I think it was one. But like you said, Katie Lynn, who was not in favor to begin with, was the person that was inserted. And then your defense is kind of on the back heel, and then mistakes are happening again. Katie Lynn was not the Katie Lynn that was the Katie Lynn of before, which was a disappointment because I know Andres knows, going back to the beginning of the season when we were talking about, I was high on Katie Lynn. I was hopeful for Katie Lynn and expect a lot of expectations on Katie Lynn, because I knew our defense was going to be struggling. And oh man, she could be a body back there, but she struggled this season and did not perform, and that was the big deal. So your point 100%. Andres, you want to say anything on his point, and then I want to ask you the same exact question. What was something that was so close that we could have done that prevented us from making the playoffs, or something that we could have done to help us make the playoffs? But your comment to follow up on David, if you want to.
To help us make the playoffs, I do agree with David, and I feel like it goes in between defense and offense. Defensively speaking, it was gonna be very, very tough to build a back line right from the start, because of course Tarsiana was sold as early as February, and of course at that moment we were just assuming that Katie Lynn and Natalie Jacobs were gonna be stepping up, and it was more so Paige Nielsen and Natalie Jacobs for a good chunk of time. And of course, we already talked about it. Natalie Jacobs has been very important to the Dash up until the moment she was traded, which of course everybody was caught by surprise. And there's been a lot of turnover, or give or take, in between what was best for the defense. Of course, Katie Lynn, going back to her, and we talked a little bit about that in the game day too. Uh, Very difficult to just go back to a match playing conditions after coming out of maternity leave, and which definitely sucks because I was looking forward to see her back on the field, but we do have the formula, we do have the players, but we go back to the defense, like, and especially early in the season where we're at the moment where I don't feel like they were understanding each other, and feel that chemistry enough to the point that they're able to string performances together. And I feel like that's what costed the team defensively early in the season. Offensively speaking, we definitely missed out on a lot of goals. Of course, last year we struggled big time to get goals, and I feel like this year we did some progress. Of course, we brought in Jasmine Ryan, which definitely like helped set up the attack and all that, but we still missed out on a ton of goals and a ton of opportunities to put games away. And obviously, without the goals and without the wins and without the draws, you miss out on a lot of points. So I feel like it's a mixture of both of those things, honestly.
Right. We're still missing that forward. We did bring in Clarissa Laracy,
Yeah.
but it's Messiah Bright and Clarissa Laracy, and they're not finishing. They're not putting the goals in. So the fans are still asking for that prolific forward, that goal threatening presence is what we definitely need, man. Going back for me early in the season when there was no expectations, there was a couple games where I felt like we could have ended up winning in the end or could have held on to a draw when we didn't. And it didn't feel like we were trying to win the game, but we were just trying to focus on what was being taught and what was being trained at the same time, which granted, you do want to work on it, and when your goals is not to really make the playoffs, you're not going to tell nobody that. Of course, you're not going to tell the fans that. But when you see the reality and you know what you have ahead of you and know what you got to do, you don't expect to make the playoffs internally. The Dash did not this season. There's no way in hell they thought they were going to be a playoff team with what the roster was and what they were building to. So, man, I so there could have been a couple games where you could have got a point or could have held on to 3 points where it turned into 1 point. And then here at the end of the season, you may not have been that team fighting for that last spot or maybe had a chance on decision day. So I very much prefer y'all's points more than mine, obviously. Not obviously, but I'm saying obviously now, just to make it clear. It is that defense struggled. Who's going to play where? How are we going to play it? Where are we going to play it? Find out how we're going to play it. And then, of course, later, Andres mentioned that the offense just cannot score and just struggles to score and trying to create. And they were able to create, just not able to finish, which kind of sucked. So, all right, man. But the best thing is we won the friggin' game, won the friggin' nothing, took notice on the NWSL, made sure they paid attention to it. People say, oh, well, KC was chilling and they're ready for the playoffs, but they played their players, bro, and they played their game. And you can look at the stats and see the same friggin' thing. They played their game and they whooped us in the stats and they were the better team on the pitch. We just did not make mistakes. And the blueprint worked that Fabrice put out, man. So y'all make sure to go to Foxtrot Game Day and watch the media availability and watch us make a fool of ourselves prior to the game, a little bit at halftime, but then at the end we make up for it on the couch. So go check it
Yeah.
out because we did not expect a win and we sold it that way. So I am super duper happy to be duped and surprised. I was not duped, man. We're used to Dash and we DTFO, and Andres always tells us to
Go beyond.
go beyond, man. Go beyond. All right, man. We did have a team of the week that came out of it from the NWSL, and two people did get introduced to it, and it was our head coach, Fabrice Castro, Big shout out. I mean, you beat the best, you get noticed as the best. And then Jane Campbell, of course, welcome back, Jane Campbell, goalkeeper of the week. You beat the best, you get noticed as the best of the week. Man, David, good shout out, team of the week for those players. I bet they deserved it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the planning from Fabrice was, I think, impeccable, even with the subs, because the team needed that spark when Messiah was starting to not be Messiah, and those heavy touches were becoming extra heavy. He went in and he threw Ryan, which ended up with the goal, and Larzy, which I still love the way Larzy plays. There's something, she may not score, but she opens up spaces for the others. She's creating opportunities for others, but I would love to see her score. And Campbell, man, she played. For a moment, I was like, she's gonna get out. She was hurting, and I was talking to someone like, mate, you just don't kick the ball. Just just throw it. Don't kick the ball because it looked like every time she kicked the ball, she was hurting. But she had a stellar game. I mean, she was on it, and I don't know how much she was hurting, but she saved a few, and she was ready.
Let's
So
remember
it was great to see her.
she had the hip injury right there where
Yeah,
where those hips are. So she probably wasn't 100%, but she was good enough to play and showed it. And she was doing drop kicks too, so she felt good enough. So it may have been looked like she felt that she was hurting, but to do those drop kicks and be precise and make sure you're not kicking them straight out of bounds. She did do one PSG out of bounds kick on one of those punts, but
Yeah, towards the
Andres,
end.
same thing. Team of the week, bro, real quick. And hey, guys, don't forget, I did not, or sorry, I should say, I did not forget about Ryan Gary's inner goal. We're still going to come up and talk about it, y'all. So calm down. I know I heard people screaming, in the background over the audio waves. But Andres, team of the week, JC won and Reese would throw.
I mean, more than well deserved. Of course, Fabrice Coutrat behind a big performance against Kansas City Current. I think they were unbeaten in the last 15 games before coming to this game. So, I mean, what else can you say? And yeah, going back to what you said about the team and if they drew relax or not. I mean, they played all their starters, almost all of them. Even Chawinga, a player that they didn't have to bring into the field, and just like that goes to show their dedication and how much they want to just win at all costs, no matter what.
Right.
And
She
they
was
brought their A game.
questionable and they still
Yeah.
played her.
Yeah, and another clean sheet for Jane Campbell now. So fantastic.
Friggin' fantastic. Friggin' fantastic. But like I said, I heard y'all. I could hear y'all yelling in the background. We went through the whole game and then kind of went to team of the week. And you're like, hold on, we did win 1-0, right? We did, right? We didn't celebrate. Hold on, calm down. We were waiting because it took Ryan Gary 3 years to score a goal, so we were waiting 3 years to talk about it. So Ryan Gary comes in and literally, what was it, a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and just the work up, the ball coming across. I think it was Alozia that put the ball across. I believe don't hold me to it. Punting game with a little touch. I don't know what the touch was. We'll let her tell us what the touch was, but we didn't get to talk to her after the game, so we'll never know. And then Ryan Gary's with a boom, a banger into the right 90 with the defender right in the way, but just high enough and hard enough to where they couldn't get her head on the friggin' ball, man. Andres, so Ryan Gary's, I know I kind of slapped you on your shoulder whenever Ryan Gary scored that goal, but I know it was worth it, right?
100% worth it. And we were definitely talking to Manny from Vice City Soccer about the substitution because that's one of the players that he did not want to see on the field. And 3 minutes later, scores her first goal in a very long time. So I'm definitely happy for Ryan Gary's. Also, Jasmine Ryan was able to set her up with a third assist of the season, which is awesome.
Sorry, it was my bad.
No, it's all good. Yeah, like I thought the play was very well set up too, and yeah, 3 minutes off the bench, That's amazing.
I mean, it was just you continued to put pressure on Kansas City, and you weren't backing down and parking the bus and just trying to play out for a draw. You did have to win the game. So credit to Fabrice and credit to the girls. He kept pushing, he kept executing, and kept putting it on, and the opportunity came. David, I mean, I know you had to be as excited as well. Probably we might have scared you when I slapped, not slapped, but I hit Andre's shoulder, and then I banged on our nice metal desk right there that makes a lot of noise. I wish we could make more noise and not get in trouble about it. But man, David, Ryan Garrett,
Yeah.
when she came in, was just a beautiful goal. It was a beautiful build up, and I don't know if you felt it coming or not, but it was amazing when it happened.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. The goal was great. She placed it right where it needed to go. And I don't know if Sarah meant to do that, but it worked. I don't know if she meant to do that, but it worked because I think the goalie was in the right position, and had Sarah hit that, maybe the goalie would have stopped it. But it messed the goalie up, and I mean Ryan was right where she needed to be, and she did have that defender in front, but it was a beautiful goal. And man, and the whole build up, the way they, Yasmin, she crossed that in perfectly. Um, everything, the whole play was very nice.
Beautiful, beautiful. Uh, Again, y'all, listen to the press conference. We keep telling y'all, go to the press conference. Listen to the press conference. You can find it on Foxtrot TV. But we asked, Fabrice about the opportunities, and even asked Yaz about the opportunities. And Yaz mentioned it best, I think, where they just kept trying, they kept pushing, they kept giving those opportunities, and they found the space. And then it was just it might have even been Sheehan that fed Yasmin Ryan the ball initially, and then Ryan with the cross. Of course, Yasmin Ryan with the cross. Buckingham with a little touch, and then Ryan Garrix with the blast into the friggin' corner of the net for her first NWSL goal. Uh, Such a special moment for her. You could see it. She was excited. She couldn't stop hopping, went straight to the girls, and the entire team celebrated. What a moment on the field. What a moment. What a goal. Still like 20 something minutes to go into the game, so a lot of pressure to go. But man, I don't know if man, that was just, what a friggin' moment. A lot of purple smoke coming from that side of the stadium too after that goal. What a beautiful moment. But all right, man. I guess we need to move on. We need to move on. We're getting like 13 minutes left to the end of the show, so don't want to hold the people up too much longer, even though they might be having a good time tonight, man. So we're looking forward to next season. We still have an opportunity, but we're going to get into the standings and tell you we don't have an opportunity no more. So looking into next season, we have an off season. We did talk to Angela in the tunnel afterwards, or in the mix zone afterwards. So again, go to Foxtrot Game Day and you get to hear what Angela had to say. We did get to talk to her for a good 30 seconds. So go check it out, see what she had to say, give your comment on it. But Andreas, David, Andreas, I'm ready for you to go through the list. International call-ups, which is still growing to this day for the Houston Dash, and we do have a lot of players. A lot of them are not a lot of them. I think the majority are senior international call-ups, but we do have some others that are mixing in some other age groups that do play for the Houston Dash. So, Andreas, if you want to run through that list, let's talk about it.
Yeah, the list of players grows every day, every year. At one point, we're gonna have 22 players on international duty, and we're gonna have a bad time because everybody's on international duty.
Put me on
But
pitch.
yeah, literal honestly, though, like I'm Jasmine Ryan and Avery Patterson, of course, called up for camp for the U.S. Women's National Team for the friends against Portugal and New Zealand coming up. And also back to the women's national team, specifically the U23s. we do have Liz Beardsley called up to the to camp for them as well,
Our
which is
goalkeeper.
great. Yes, and also we do have two more Dash players going to the under 20 camp: Zoe Matthews and, by technicality, Chloe Ricketts. And I mean, it's still impressive because you don't believe it, but she's 16 years old, man. Like it's insane. She's able to manage that. So congrats to her, and of course congrats to Soy Matthews still with Lux Logroño over in Spain, and I look forward to see her come back next year. And of course that was just for the U.S. So
That
we
was
do have
just
five.
US. You're right. That was 5.
Yes, that was 5 players representing the U.S. like coming up in the next international break, and we do have Evelina Doljan going to the Swedish on 23s as
Asterisk.
well, I believe. Yes.
Somebody was in a
Yes.
boot. Somebody was in a boot after the game at the Houston Dash game, walking around in the tunnel. So if she's available for Sweden, we're going to be surprised. She was called up for Sweden, but she may have been hurt during practice. So she was in a boot, and that's why she was not available for this game. Her foot.
Yeah. Yeah, she might not go because of the injury, but I hope she does. And if she doesn't, I hope she recovers as soon as possible. And we do have, of course, Lisa Boitin going back to the Italian national team. They're going to be playing friendlies against Japan and Brazil in this international break, which is awesome. And of course, we can't forget Kiki Van Satten representing Jamaica again, going on a friendly against Trinidad and Tobago coming up with this break as well. So shout out to her. And of course, last but not least, Michelle Alosia, I call up for the Nigerian national team for African Cup of Nations qualifying.
And Sarah Buttengam called up to Australia as well. So we got.
Yes. I forgot. This 10?
Yeah, I think so.
Dang.
Because she is the captain of Austria, not Australia. Austria. So yeah,
Austria.
so yeah, a lot of players. I know Dash said 8 at one point, but I think our numbers are different. But they may not be counting the U20s. So who knows? Or the ones on loan, or they may not be closing. Who knows? But yeah, we just went through a list. That's a lot of players. International duty. Good thing we don't have a game next week, or it really doesn't matter now that the season's over. So international duty, but a lot of potential, a lot of experience that these girls are gaining. David, international duty, anything stand out to you, or any shout out you want to give to those players? Anything you want to say about those players for international duty? We just went through 10 of those players, and we see 20 on a daily dress out.
Man, I'm counting here. I got 11. That's a whole team.
Who's the 11th?
You can make a
Run through the
Let me
names.
see. 2. You got Velina, Lisa, Chloe, Avery,
Yeah.
Kiki. Oh no, I got Evelina twice. That's it.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, so yeah.
So
So
it's
10.
10.
So 10, maybe 9 because Evelina's hurt. So maybe
Yeah.
that's where one of the Dash numbers didn't come from because they knew she was going to be hurt, but she still a call up, but whatever.
Yeah.
So we're going to go with 10 friggin' international
Yeah.
call ups, though. But David, go ahead, man. Comment on that, bro. That's
No.
got to be super.
I mean that's almost a whole team right there, and that speaks out volumes. That speaks out volumes of the talent that the Dash has. I mean, you got the personnel there. You just gotta. How are you gonna make that mix when they come back from international duty to play that last game? How are you gonna put all these players into the mix, and also looking into the next year? But man, that's a lot. I don't know that. I haven't looked, but I don't know that there's another NWSL team that has that many call-outs to international duty. Maybe there is, but
I'm pretty
for the
sure
Dash,
there
this is impressive. This is
I'm pretty
impressive for
sure
the
there is
Dash.
because I've seen some of them that have had quite a bit of play. Kansas City. Let's just go with Kansas City. But yeah, man. Andres, you were going to follow up?
No, yeah, I completely forgot about Puntigam. She did get a call to Austria, which is nice. And I mean, what else can you say? We do have a ton of extremely good players, and not just our team, but also across the league. We do have a ton of international backgrounds and representation. That it's insane. So that's amazing.
That is insane. So, hey guys, like we said, the season's coming to an end, but we still have one game left against Portland. We'll talk about that one next week after international duty, so we won't bore you with a preview 2 weeks ahead of schedule. But look forward to
Yeah.
decision day, which is not much of a decision. Portland is they're in the playoffs, so they don't have nothing to worry about. They're just going to be looking for momentum if they can continue their momentum. So we can just be a little bit of spoilers and put them into the burner as they go into the playoffs on the road most likely because they'll be the 6th seed. It looks like. So, segue. Let's get into the NWSL standings. We don't need to go over what games happened this weekend because obviously we were eliminated. Man, Louisville tied their game 1-1, which was the end of the reasoning behind it. But Kansas City, as we all know, won the NWSL Shield easily months ago or years ago. I forget how long ago it was. They won it a long time ago. Washington's going to be the 2 with 44. Hold on. 62 for Kansas City. Washington, 44. Friggin' insane. That's
No, I mean, not ridiculous.
18 points, bro. 18 points. That's friggin'. All right, where's the parity, bro? Where's the parity? All right. Good thing we beat their ass. Good thing we beat their ass. All right. Washington, 44. Orlando, 39. Seattle, 38. San Diego, 37. Portland, 37. Gotham, 36. Racing, 34. North Carolina 32, who's still trying to get in against Racing. And then, of course, Houston 30. Angel City lost, so they're going to be 27, so good for them. If they win and we lose our last one, they'll tie us for friggin' 10th place, but whatever, we're both out of the playoffs, so who friggin' cares anymore? So that's lining up your playoffs. We were so friggin' close, man, but we're 4 points out with one game to go, so maybe we can close that gap just to make it look better at the end of the season. But, David, does anything stand out with you in the NWSL standings or anything you want to talk about?
No, man, that's crazy. The amount of, I mean, the Casey doubled us in points. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. But like, I mean, you just look at the second place, and they're still so far away. That's insane. I mean, that speaks of how good that team it is, and how important and how much value this win has for the Dash. You beat that team, and just like Andres was saying earlier, they had a 15 game, I think you said, undefeated
15
streak,
games, yeah.
unbeaten. Yeah, so I mean, we got close, but just like we mentioned earlier, those heavy touches and not finishing, or like giving goals in the last few minutes, that killed us. But I don't know what else to say, man. It's impressive what Casey has done.
20 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws, 47 goals for, which is 5 more than anybody else in the league, which is 5 more than Washington. 12 goals against, which is 10 more or 10 less than Gotham with 22, who finished in second in the league. So just friggin' absolutely ridiculous the season they had and the performance they had. If they do not win the cup, they're a joke. Just kidding. Just kidding. If they don't win the cup, good. Shout out to whoever the hell pulled that upset off. If they don't make it to the cup, damn, bro, damn. Sucks for them. But too bad, y'all. But all right, man. Hey, we're at 59 minutes tonight on the Dash Dispatch. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for coming in. I tell y'all every time, comment on whatever platform you're listening to. But David Castro, DB Sports Media, man. Tell the people again who you are and where they can find you if they would like to follow you, which they should. And if you're at a Dash game, he's up there in the press box with us. Y'all just take a look because you know who we are already. take a look. He's up there with us, man. Sitting next to Valentina, too, who has been a no-show lately. No-show Valentina.
Yeah. Gotta get her back. Hey, just look for the long hair. You'll see me. I'm easy to spot. No, but I'm yeah, no, thank you guys for having me. Really had a blast with you guys, and you can if you'd like to follow us, we're at CG Sports Media on Instagram, Facebook, working on getting our TikTok and YouTube off the ground, but that's for next season. But yeah, we're covering everything that has to do with international soccer games, friendlies. Right now we're doing the Aggies, and we're gonna try to cover some of those football bowls for the Texas team. So we're try to stay active, and yeah, if you'd like to follow us, welcome you
What's your handle?
at CG Sports Media, just like that.
CG Sports Media. That's pretty easy, y'all, because we said CG Sports Media a few times tonight on the show. So if you heard it, you heard it a few times. Now you're going to remember it at CG Sports Media. Andres, the Dynamic Foxtrot from Foxtrot TV via YouTube, which you're watching right now. Some of you are listening elsewhere, which is okay. No worries, no worries. You don't get to see the backgrounds that we got right now if you're just listening to it. But Andres, tell the people the things they need to know is what we'll call it this week.
Of course. No, yeah. Our handle at Dynamic Foxtrot is gonna be our handle for Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, of course, also YouTube. If you just type in youtube.com/Dynamic Foxtrot, you're gonna be on Foxtrot TV. As we mentioned already, that's where you're gonna be seeing all of our content, not just our podcast episodes for That's Dispatch, but also Noodle Time, our Foxtrot Game Day, which we just dropped the one for the game against Kansas City Current. I told Oshi it was gonna be. I swear it's gonna be less than 40 minutes, but it turned out to be an hour.
We were wrong again.
Only because we always have a ton of content, and we don't want to cut it out because it's what makes Foxtrot Game Day. Foxtrot Game Day. It's pretty much our perspective and pretty much what happens during the game. So it's our last one for the year. So make sure to watch it, and we do appreciate the support you guys have been giving us, and obviously looking forward to 2026, where it's gonna be an insane year, I'm sure. Not just for Dash, but also Dynamo, and it's gonna be amazing. So once again, thank you guys for your support, and of course, whatever you listen to your podcast platform of choice, we're there. Make sure you're subscribed. You're gonna get all of our podcast episodes and game days alike there for you to listen during your workday, during your traffic commute, and all that. And yeah, we do have a lot of things on the works for 2026, and it's gonna be an insane year.
Hey, like you said, a lot in the works for 2026 for the Foxtrot Media crew and Foxtrot Media, the brand itself. So y'all pay attention during the off season. We're not going nowhere. He says the last Foxtrot Game Day, which means that's the last time we'll be at the stadium for a minute. It is not the last episode of the Dash Dispatch. It's not the last episode of Noodle Time or other things. There should be hopefully some other things during the off season that we can do. We can take care of. We still have an off season review. I've already confirmed a guest for our off season review that we will highlight later at that time. I know y'all will like her, so y'all pay attention and stay tuned for it. That's the only hint y'all get. But if you follow the game in a different diversity, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about, man. So, hey, this is the Dash Dispatch. Andres, what do we do?
Go beyond.
Go
all day, every day.
Go beyond. David, thank you for coming in tonight with CG Sports Media. Thank you for your opinion. Appreciate you. We're going to invite you back again. Hopefully we get to talk more during the off season, during next season. Get to see you again the next season. Hook 'em horns just to remind you, by the way. Hey, but we turn them horns around and we throw them H's up right now and we say goodnight to y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Comment on any platform that you're listening. Let us know what you think, if you agree with us or you don't. But H's up. We'll see you soon. Peace.
But all the credit goes to this Houston Dash team. They might have just found a blueprint